Good morning, students. Welcome to SYBBA General Semester 3 at Anand Commerce College, Anand. Myself, Professor Devang Trivedi, is engaging you for the subject Financial Management 1 having a code number UM03 CBBA 23. This is an online lecture being delivered as a part of Gujarat Government Education Department guidelines owing to COVID-19 pandemic. This is a part 2 lecture that we started last time. I told you about the financial functions first unit of this subject, and we discussed the meaning of finance, the approaches, that is the wealth maximization and profit maximization approach, scope of finance, and importance of finance. Now let's move ahead and discuss about the remaining part. The next point is traditional and modern approach to finance function. Financial management approach measures the scope of financial management in various fields, which includes the essential part of the finance. Financial management is not a revolutionary concept but an evolutionary concept. The definition and scope of financial management has been changed from one period to another period and applied various innovations. Traditional point of view and modern point of view towards the financial management broadly displays the two approaches, and that is popularly known as the traditional approach and a modern approach to financial management. Now let's take first the traditional approach. The traditional approach to the scope of financial management refers to its subject matter in the academic literature in the initial stages of its evolution as a separate branch of academic study. The term corporate finance was used to describe what is known now in the academic world as financial management. As the name suggests, the concern of corporation finance was with the financing of corporate enterprises. In other words, the scope of finance function was treated by the traditional approach in the narrow sense of procurement of funds by corporate enterprises to meet their financing needs. The term procurement was used in a broad sense so as to include the whole gamut of raising funds externally. Thus, defined, the field of study dealing with finance was treated as encompassing three interrelated aspects of raising and administering resources from outside. That is, number one, the institutional arrangement in the form of financial institutions which comprise the organization of the capital market. Second, financial instruments through which funds are raised from the capital markets and the related aspects of practices and the procurement aspects of capital market. And the third is the legal and accounting relationships between a firm and its sources of funds. The coverage of corporation finance was therefore conceived to describe the rapidly evolving complex of capital market institutions, instruments, and practices. A related aspect was that firms require funds at certain episodic events such as merger, acquisition, reorganization, and so on. A detailed description of these major events constituted the second element of the scope of this field of academic study. That these were the broad features of the subject matter of corporation finance is eloquently reflected in the academic writings around the period during which the traditional approach dominated the academic thinking. Thus, the issue of which the literature on finance addressed itself was how resources could best be raised from the combination of the available sources. See, the traditional approach to the scope of finance function evolved during the 1920s and say 1930s, especially after the First World War, dominated the academic thinking during the 40s and through the early 50s. It has now been discarded as it suffers from serious limitations. The weakness of the traditional approach fall into two broad categories. Number one, those relating to the treatment of various topics and the emphasis attached to them. And second, those relating to the basic conceptual and analytical framework of the definition and scope of the finance function. As regards to the first type of criticism of the traditional approach, the emphasis of the academic literature on issues relating to the procurement of funds by corporate enterprises was challenged during the period of the approach dominated the scene itself. The traditional treatment of finance was criticized for the following reasons. Since the finance function was equated with issues involved in raising and administering the funds, the theme was woven around the viewpoint of the suppliers of funds such as investors, investment bankers, and so on. That is, the outsiders. It implies that no consideration was given to the viewpoint of those who had to take internal financial decisions. The traditional treatment was, in other words, the outsider looking in approach. The limitation was that internal decision making, that is, insider looking out, was completely ignored. The second ground of criticism of the traditional treatment was that the focus was on financing problems of corporate enterprises. To that extent, the scope of financial management was confined only to a segment of the industrial enterprises, as non corporate organizations lay outside its scope. Yet another basis on which the traditional approach was challenged was that the treatment was built too closely around episodic events such as promotion, incorporation, merger, consolidation, reorganization, and so on. Financial management was confined to a description of the infrequent happenings in the life of an enterprise. As a logical corollary, the day to day financial problems of a normal company did not receive any attention. And finally, the traditional approach was found to have lacuna to the extent the focus was on long term financing. Its natural implication was that the issues involved in working capital management were not in the purview of finance function. The limitation of the traditional approach was, however, not entirely based on treatment of emphasis of different aspects. In other words, its weakness were more fundamental, and the conceptual and analytical confined financial management to issues involved in procurement of external funds. It did not consider the important dimension of allocation of capital. The conceptual framework of the traditional treatment ignored what Solomon aptly described as the central issues of financial management. These are: should an enterprise commit capital funds to certain purposes? Do the expected returns meet financial standards of performance? How should these standards be set, and what is the cost of capital funds to be the enterprise? How does the cost vary with the mixture of financing methods used? In the absence of the coverage of these crucial aspects, the traditional approach implied a very narrow scope for financial management, and therefore the traditional approach have failed to recognize the changing needs of financial management, and because of the challenging world in which a enterprise operates, the professionals have failed to find the answers of many questions that they are facing for the financial decision making. And a new school of thought have developed, and that is the second approach to financial decision making, and that approach is popularly known as the modern approach. The modern approach views the term financial management in a broad sense and provides a conceptual and analytical framework for financial decision making. According to it, the finance function covers both acquisition of funds as well as their allocation. Thus, apart from the issues involved in acquiring external funds, the main concern of financial management is the efficient and wise allocation of funds to various uses. Defined in a broad sense, it is viewed as an integral part of overall management. The new approach is an analytical way of viewing the financial problems of a firm. The main contents of this approach are: what is the total volume of funds an enterprise should commit? What specific assets should an enterprise acquire? What should the funds and how should the funds required be financed? See, alternatively, the principal contents of the modern approach to financial management can be said to be: number one, how large should an enterprise be and how fast should it grow? Second, in what form should it hold its assets? And number three, what should be the composition of its liabilities? So, the three questions posed above cover between them and major financial problems of the firm. In other words, financial management, according to the new approach, is concerned with the solution of three major problems relating to the financial operations of a firm, corresponding to the three questions, namely investment, financing, and dividend decisions. Thus, financial management in the modern sense of the term can be broken down into three major decisions as functions of finance. They are the investment decisions, second, the financing decisions, and the third is dividend policy decisions. Therefore, we can very safely conclude that the modern approach is diagonally opposite to the traditional approach, and it safely takes care about whatever lacunas that we have observed in the traditional approach. So though the traditional approach has been in practice for many decades, it has failed to address the modern challenges and the modern puzzles that the professional finance managers are facing, and therefore a modern approach has been evolved and which tries to solve the limitations and problems that we faced in the traditional approach, and that takes care about the executive and routine finance function of a modern financial manager. So modern financial manager broadly has to concentrate on three major functions, that is the investment decisions, financing decision, and the dividend decision. Let's take the first function, the investment decision. The investment decision relates to the selection of assets in which the funds will be invested by the firm. The assets which can be acquired fall into two broad categories. The one is long-term assets which will yield a return over a period of a time in future, and second is a short-term or a current asset, defined as those assets which in the normal course of business are convertible into cash, usually within a period of 12 months. So accordingly, the asset selection decision of the firm is of two types. The first of these involving the first category of assets is primarily known as financial literature as capital budgeting decision. The capital budgeting, that is the long-term investment decision, is probably the most crucial financial decision of the modern financial management of a manager. It relates to the selection of an asset or investment proposal or course of action whose benefits are likely to be available in future over lifetime of the project. The long-term assets can either be new or existing one. The first aspects of the capital budgeting decisions relates to the choice of the new asset out of the alternatives available, or the reallocation of capital when an existing asset failed to justify the funds committed. Whether an asset will be accepted or not will depend upon the relative benefits and returns associated with it. The measurement of the worth of the investment proposal is therefore a major element in the capital budgeting decision process. This implies a discussion of the methods of appraisal and investment proposal. The second element of capital budgeting analysis and part of a strategic financial decision of modern financial manager is the evaluation of risk and uncertainty that is associated with the investment project. And finally, the evaluation of the worth of long-term projects implies certain norms or standards against which the benefits are to be judged. The requisites norms is known as or by different names such as cutoff rate, hurdle rate, required rate, minimum rate of return, and so on. This standard is broadly expressed in terms of the cost of capital. The concept and the measurement of cost of capital is another major aspects of a long-term capital budgeting decisions which a modern finance manager has to take. And this takes care about the composition of the asset, the risk complexion of the assets, and the measurement of the cost of capital. The second major area of investment decision is working capital management. Working capital management is concerned with the management of the current assets. It is an important and integral part of financial management as short-term survival is a prerequisite to long-term success. One aspect of the working capital management is the trade-off between profitability and risk, that is liquidity. There is a conflict between profitability and liquidity. If the firm does not have adequate working capital, that is, it does not invest sufficient funds in current asset, it may become illiquid and do not reflect contemporary empirical industry practice. Therefore, it is important that an enough investment is made in the working capital. The key consideration and strategies is ensuring a trade-off between profitability and liquidity, and that is one major dimension of working capital management. In addition, the individual current asset should be efficiently managed so that neither inadequate nor unnecessary funds are locked up. In nutshell, we can say the management of working capital is taking care of the working capital management as a whole, and second, efficient management of individual current asset such as cash, receivable, raw material, work in process, and finished goods inventory. So this is one of the most important function of modern day financial manager. The second important area of function is a financing function. This takes care about broadly concerned with the asset mix or the composition of the asset of the firm. The concept of the financing decision is with the financing mix or capital structure or the leverage. The term capital structure here refers to the composition of debt and equity. The financing decision is related to the choice between the proportion between the two depending upon the investment requirement of the firm. There are two aspects of the financing decision. The first, the theory of capital structure, which shows the theoretical relationship between the employment of debt and the return to the shareholder, and the use of debt implies higher return to the shareholders and also higher risk to the shareholders. The capital structure reasonably decide the proportion and the risk composition. So the second aspect of this decision of a modern finance manager, they effectively takes care of capital structure theory and capital structure decision. The third important area of the modern financial manager's decision making is dividend policy decision. In a financial management, dividend is important, and therefore every company should decide about their dividend policy. The dividend decision should be analyzed in relation to the financing decision of a firm. Two alternatives are available in dealing with the profits of the firm. They can be distributed to the shareholders in the form of dividends, or they can be retained in the business. Which course of action should be followed, that is distribution of dividend or retention? One significant element in the dividend decision is therefore the dividend payout ratio. That is, what proportion of net profit should be paid out to the shareholders. The decision will depend upon the preference of the shareholders and the investment opportunities available within the organization. The second major aspect of the dividend decision is the factors determining dividend policy of the firm. So, students, it is clear from our foregoing analysis and discussion that the modern financial manager is encountered with a lot of issues, and his executive and routine finance function is very much revolve around the three major financial decisions that the company has to take, that is financing, investment and dividend decisions. And all his decisions ultimately, these decisions ultimately should lead to the objective of financial management, that is the achievement of the objective. As I told you in my first part, that the objective of financial management is wealth maximization. So every company should try to achieve the objective of wealth maximization, and to achieve that objective they will have to gear up the decision making process of the modern financial management in a direction such that the objective of wealth maximization can be achieved without any difficulties. And whatever actions that needs to be taken, that whatever sub decisions or sub actions that are needed to be taken in order to achieve the objective of wealth maximization, that the modern finance manager must take, so that ultimately the final objective of financial management can be achieved. Now let's move to the last point of this unit, and that is roles and responsibility of financial manager. From the foregoing first part of our lecture and the second part, whatever up till now I told you, it is clear that the modern financial manager has a multiple role to play, and therefore he has to see that whatever actions that he takes, whatever decisions that he makes, whatever instructions that he give, ultimately it leads to the achievement of the objective of the financial management. So what are the roles and responsibilities? The finance manager, his functions is one of the major part of business organization, which involves the permanent and continuous process of business concern. Finance is one of the interrelated function which deal with personal function, marketing function, production function, research and development activities of business concern. At present, every business concern rates more on the field of finance because it is very emerging part which reflects the entire operational and profitability position of the organization. Deciding the proper financial function is the essential and ultimate goal of the business organization. Finance manager is one of the important role players in the field of finance function. He must have entire knowledge in the area of accounting, finance, economics, and management. His position is highly critical and analytical to solve various problems related to the financial management. A person who deals with finance related activities may be called a finance manager, and a modern finance manager in today's world has to perform a lot of functions to and play a lot of role and responsibilities in the modern financial management. As I told you earlier, all the functions, roles and responsibilities of a modern financial manager revolves around the three major areas of functions, that is investment decision, financing decision and dividend decision. He has to perform other major functions as well. They are: number 1, forecasting financial requirements. See, it is the responsibility, the primary function of the finance manager. He is responsible to estimate the financial requirements of the business organization. He should estimate how much finance is required to acquire fixed assets and forecast the amount needed to meet the working capital requirements in future. Second area is acquiring necessary capital. After deciding the financial requirement, the financial manager should concentrate how the finance is mobilized and where it will be available. It is also highly critical in future. The third area is investment decision or investment management. The finance manager must carefully select best investment alternatives and consider the reasonable and stable return from the investment. It must be well versed in the field of capital budgeting techniques to determine the effective utilization of investment. The finance manager must concentrate to principles of safety, liquidity and profitability with investment capital. Number 4 is cash management. Present days cash management plays a major role in the area of finance because proper cash management is not only essential for effective utilization of cash but it also helps to meet the short-term liquidity position of the organization. Number 5 is interrelation with other departments. See, modern financial manager has to coordinate the functions of financial department with the other department. Finance manager deals with various functional departments such as marketing, production, human resource management, systems, research, development, etc. Financial manager should have sound knowledge not only in finance related area but also well versed in other areas also. He must maintain a good relationship with all the functional department of the business organization. So students, these are the major area of concern for the finance manager and his roles and responsibilities in this modern day business management is extended not only in one area but in other areas, as I told you earlier also. The most important thing that he has to now remember is that he cannot work in taboos or isolation. He has to coordinate the finance function with the other departments: marketing, human resource management, accounting, human development, research and development, and information technology. These are the surrounding areas or the related departments that are most important for the functioning of the organization. And ultimately, he has to ensure that while carrying out these functions, the objective of the organization, that is the wealth maximization objective, that objective is achieved. So he has to keep at center and in focus this ultimate objective of wealth maximization while taking all these financial decisions. Students, nowadays there is a more and more professionalism in the financial management and financial decision making, and the trained professionals, the MBA with finance, chartered accountants, cost accountants, they are involved in the entire process of this modern financial management decisions. So students, we bring an end to your first unit, and here you can now refer all these lectures, the first part, second part that we have communicated to you. You can keep on listening them, learn them and then next time I will give you the assignment from the first unit.